Big fan of your work. Big fan. All you guys, really. I can't tell you how much it means to me to meet someone who appreciates killing as much as I do.
This is Vet TV, the first ever streaming video network created for and by the post-9/11 veteran community. And the content is filled with dark, controversial, and what most would consider objectionable comedy.
I think I'm gonna beat off.
The project is the brainchild of Donny O'Malley, a former Marine whose goal was to show the sometimes ugly reality of how frontline soldiers act. Something that's kind of the complete opposite of how the military is usually depicted in pop culture.
Is it wrong that it feels so right?
No topic is off limits. Serious military issues like sexual assault, ISIS, trans service members, veteran suicide, and killing civilians all get the Vet TV treatment.
Donny's pretty offensive at times, especially if you're not the audience he's aiming for, and you're probably not. If you are a civilian, this content isn't for you.
But the questionable humor has been embraced by who Vet TV says is a mostly veteran audience, one who has helped support Vet TV in creating a ton of expensive, highly produced niche content in its first year. I've worked on a couple of military stories and even have active duty service members in my family. But after watching some of Vet TV's aggressively politically incorrect humor, I debated doing this story at all. Still, I wanted to hear what Donny and his crew had to say about his work, so I traveled to San Diego to meet Donny on the set of his latest show.
Want to see the spot?
Yeah.
Let's do it.
What is this? This is a full active studio
Yes.
that you just rent out?
Yeah, it has everything that we need. And we hired an awesome crew to build all these sets here in the studio.
You built
All
of
this.
this.
It's the Pouty Pink massage parlor. Our job is to recreate every part of the veterans' experience, massage parlor being one of them.
Okay.
And so we filmed this a couple days ago. Oh.
I hear some of your beautiful poetic
Yes.
words being rehearsed by these Shakespearean actors.
Brilliance.
Yeah, wow.
Magic is happening in that set over
Yeah.
there, right? Yeah, in this sketch, the SWAT team is barging into the massage parlor as a service member is getting a hand job.
Yeah.
And he is trying to pay the woman to finish the hand job as they're listening to the SWAT team barging through the parlor, coming up to the door, and then they come in.
That tsunami's great, isn't it?
Best.
Good morning, ma'am. Private Jones reporting as ordered.
At attention.
How much are you personally invested in this, like monetarily?
My money, I've put I've passed 150.
150,000?
Yeah, from my life savings. But my parents have put in 150. Yeah, that's it. The rest of it is the audience.
Despite what civilians in Hollywood want you to believe, post-9/11 veterans are not always respectful, honorable, nor professional.
Vet TV launched a Kickstarter in 2016, and in just 35 days, the campaign raised $296,000, $46,000 over their target amount. That money funded their first few shows, and now Vet TV has over 20,000 users who pay $5 a month for a Netflix-style subscription site. And pretty much every creative facet of every show stems from Donny's auteur vision. Hollywood's portrayal of the military in movies like 12 Strong are almost always about heroism and success on the battlefield. But according to Donny, those are feel-good propaganda pieces made for civilians. Since 2001, over 2 million service members have fought in the global war on terror, the majority having been deployed to Iraq and Afghanistan between 2003 and 2011. Out of this larger group, Vet TV is specifically targeting frontline Army and Marine Corps infantrymen who spent the most time fighting on the ground. Donny understands that doesn't represent the majority of veterans' experiences, but it's this smaller infantry group that he knows best.
I'm the EOD tech.
So the first to die. Generally, civilians don't like seeing us the way we really are.
Gonna have a meeting tonight with a few shitheads, so there'll be plenty of guys to kill.
Hell yeah. Whose dick's hard?
Mine's a little chubby.
They don't like seeing our sense of humor because they don't understand it.
Oh, look who's already sucking the CO's cock.
Oftentimes, I've noticed people will be more turned off by filthy language than by watching someone blow to bits. They expect us to be like the commercials. Proper, sword,
Few, the proud, the Marines.
The reality is, the young enlisted ranks is filled with fucking dirtbags who just want to go kill the enemy and then get laid. That's all they care about.
Donny signed up for the Marines back in 2009, a few years after graduating college. He had always wanted to join the military. His father was a Marine and he was obsessed with the movie Platoon as a kid. But like most recent veterans, it was 9/11 that ultimately propelled him into military service.
That's a flag that was flown in Afghanistan, where I was on the 4th of July. Over, what was it, Kop Shergazi? It's the Marine Corps flag. And then this one right here is like typical Marine Corps, I don't know what the word is, propaganda.
Oh, yep. Mess with the best, die like the rest.
When we would go to the Marine Corps base in Camp Lejeune while my dad was going to medical school in the summers, that's all I would find and buy in the pawn shops. Like, I thought it was the coolest shit ever. Like, as a kid, I was just like, I just want to kill them all.
So this is your book. You wrote this after getting out of the Marines, so
Yep.
Can you tell me a little bit about this?
Every book that has ever been made about war, it's one person telling their experience for civilians. And so I wanted to write a book that was for the young enlisted fighters. And, of course, it's a comedy.
Right.
Because even in the midst of combat, laughter is what gets us through the day. My buddy, my biggest fan, killed himself while I was, right before I published. He was a veteran and blew his legs off in Afghanistan. And then now it's like, fuck, what am I gonna do now? You know, how am I gonna go get pussy? Am I gonna get married? You know, so he had all these shitty things going on. And then he read something that he said it was the only thing in his life that could make him laugh hysterically. And he said, he told me I was doing God's work before he died. And he said, don't ever stop doing what you're doing. Don't ever stop being raw and honest. And don't ever stop being yourself. And that was the last text message I got from him before he died. I just felt like I had to, like I had a calling to continue using my talent and focusing my effort to also do something good aside from just making people laugh. So that's how that TV came to be.
Oh, shit.
Thank God. I thought it was one of our key players.
Scared me too, sir. Thank God it's just Wagner.
That TV as a business is dark humor. Dark humor is what is used to deal with things that suck for those who are experiencing things that suck on a daily basis. Anyone who works in the ER, doctor, nurse, EMT, their humor is dark as fuck.
No, seriously. Because you're surrounded by death all the time,
Yeah.
and if you were to overthink it.
It's like, you get really scared and nervous and shake and you cry the first couple times, and after that, it's like humor is a coping mechanism.
Another round, sir. Don't mind if I did.
Like Donny, a lot of the Vet TV crew members are veterans themselves and have firsthand experience with the difficulties of returning from war, including John Forsyth, who served 4 years with the Marines in Afghanistan.
What was your reentry into civilian life like?
When you get out, there's the whole isolation thing. And
Yeah.
like, I just go back to Tucson, and then it's like, I don't have anybody living there with me. No one else who like I can relate to.
Did you ever have moments of more than just being like, I miss my buddies, where it got dark?
Yeah, it got a little bit dark. A lot of dudes ended up turning to suicide. Like 2 of my best friends from the Marines ended up doing it. So many people that I like knew and hung out with and worked with, it's just like they've all gone down that path. Like I fear sometimes that some people get so used to it that they think, oh, well, I might as well just do it too.
Did you ever reach that point?
I got pretty close to it a few times. I had just graduated from college. I've just used up all my GI Bill. I've got a degree that I can't really get a job in right now because the competition is so high. Like I have nothing to do. I also don't have my girlfriend anymore. She's with some other dude. And like all this stuff is just kind of, it just builds up. I used to not like understand why these people may kill themselves, but now it makes sense to me. I can hit the reset button and try to persevere or whatever, but it's way easier if I just kill myself. So.
What pulled you out of that darkness?
Donny unknowingly helped me quite a bit with the Quit the Bullshit video. I think that's what it's called.
Cut the fucking bullshit. Stop crying about petty fucking shit and take action. In the military, you're constantly given the plan. Well, now you're out. It's time to grab your fucking nuts and create your own plan to solve the problem.
I'd watch that video over and over, like most nights. I'd even just listen to it, like when I'm at the gym or on my way to work.
Wow.
Just like hear the words get repeated a bunch of times. I'm going through my whole depression thing, and I'm like, wow, like that made a lot of sense. And then when they launched their Kickstarter campaign, watched their little pitch video, and I'm like, wow, like that's a project that I could definitely get behind.
Why do you think dark comedy about shitty times helps people?
I mean, I wish I had a very scientific answer for that. I know it helps me, so I'm like, if it helps me and I've had other people say that it helps them, I'm probably the darkest guy that works here.
That's what Donny said.
I make suicide jokes all the time, like dark ones and stuff. It's almost a way to like have power over that. I want to own that time of my life and then hopefully be somewhat of an inspirational story to like have been in such a dark place to like have completely turned it around, and now I'm here like making stuff that lots of people are gonna see. That's really what I want to do.
Action.
Girlfriend?
Yes, Kenny.
How serious are you two?
Very serious, Kenny. When can you get married?
Get out of my office and go to your squad leader.
Excuse me?
Get out! Out!
Oh my God, it's funny. She's really, really good actress.
She's such a good actress.
It's the face.
Yeah.
It's just those little itty-bitty subtle things.
All right, cut.
He's making this for a veteran audience, right? Do you think the civilian audience will accept this content?
I feel like as like a production designer, I think the producer will come out in me sometimes and say, hey, there are certain things that you have to justify. The guys that we had in our ISIS bloopers. Well, I'm basically making you on blackface.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I feel I can push back. I can be the devil's advocate towards them to say, hey, somebody's gonna look at that and go, no.
Have you shown your friends?
I have. I got some pushback too. This is a transgender one. Yeah. It's a little hard for me because like just being in that community, I have a lot of really good friends and I wouldn't show them that. I'm doing Chelsea Manning skit and it's like, how do I make that appropriate for people that are not in the military to understand that?
You're damn right I got this.
I don't know how to tell a heteronormative man that you're being insensitive without being a bitch or called a bitch on set.
Some worry that she might be too harsh for Paris Island, but that's not the only thing critics are worried about.
If we're going to specifically refer to the transgender sketch, the intent wasn't to tell the transgender story. The intent was to make the audience laugh.
But they don't have much representation right now, especially when it comes to in the military. If you're showing a character that is supposed to be a trans person, and that is representation.
I was confident that I could create that sketch and not make transgenders look bad. I knew I could do it right. It was a fine line. We tried to cast a transgender for that role for a month.
Yeah.
So why did we go forward? Well, to put it simply, because we had all the pieces of production in place. Up until 2 weeks out, we still didn't have an actor for it. We don't have the money to write a new sketch and then hire all of the other new actors, because there was like 20 extras involved in that. And this was on me because I ended up playing the role.
Yes.
I need to do this right. I need to do this in a manner that is not gonna bash them and that they could actually be grateful for. And I haven't seen a negative comment yet, so.
Yet.
It might come. And when it comes, I'll say, I'm sorry, tell me how to do this better next time.
Right on, yeah. This looks real, the lighting is fucking sick.
Obviously, Donny doesn't shy away from much of anything, but he's not the only writer for Vet TV. Many of the actors and crew members double as writers as well. So I wanted to ask one of them about another controversial subject Vet TV has tackled, sexual assault.
The day's lesson became crystal clear when it was explained in a context that Marines could relate to. Their demeanor was completely different, and they appeared to take the class much more seriously than they had before.
I am probably the voice of reason sometimes, being one of the only females here, and I am the only female who has ever made it to the writer's table.
A big thing that's happening right now is the Me Too movement, conversations about sexual harassment. You've done episodes on sexual assault, perhaps not always executed in the best way. How does one reconcile how Vet TV deals with sexual assault in their parody video and the conversation that's happening in the United States about sexual assault and bringing that sort of together?
I've made my Me Too post as well, so I've been in that position before. The things that we're doing, especially the things that you're referencing during our first show, Kill, Die, Laugh, I'm not always 100% in agreement on the way that things are executed, but what I do agree with is the fact that these things start conversations, and it makes people talk about things that are uncomfortable, like sexual assault. We're not trying to exploit it, we're trying to bring attention to it and spark more conversation.
Here's the thing, men don't like making men out to be dirtbags.
I'm shocked by that statement.
Yeah. Men, you know, want this image of just bravado and awesomeness. And the reality is that so much of man's pathetic behavior is rooted in insecurity, to include treatment of women. I wish to change that. And the way I intend to do that is by holding the mirror up to them.
The doll is here to help the Marines express their natural urges. As you know, when a Marine sees a woman's backside, it's in his nature to grab it.
We are headed to Northern Pine Brewery in Oceanside. We're having a vet together.
A vet together?
Yeah, veteran get together. This is our chance just to bring veterans together, because it doesn't happen enough.
Post 9/11 veterans on social media are the community that you're targeting as veteran television.
Yes.
Single biggest difference between post 9/11 veterans and all other veterans?
I think that would be our arrogance. A post 9/11 combat veteran who has been in battle in Iraq or Afghanistan always won. There's this sense of arrogance that not only did we fuck up everyone we fought, but we were laughing as we did it. Yeah. You know, we're taking selfies and GoPro footage. Like, hey bro, watch this. You know, like, that's post 9/11 warfare.
And you're fucking proud of it and happy to do it.
Absolutely.
Do it all over again. Yeah.
How many of you guys here are for Vet Together? Raise your hands. We're here to get together, have a good time, talk, drink beers, fight that isolation, that loneliness that we all feel when we go to college and listen to these little millennials chat about bullshit, right? Welcome, enjoy yourselves, get to know each other, and have a great time. Cheers!
How do you guys know each other? Is it through service or is it through events like tonight where veterans meet up?
This is our first time meeting. Well, we've been chatting on social media for a while.
Oh, yeah?
We share similar stories, you know, the struggle, the training, the deployment.
The trying to adjust back into civilian life and then it was like, man, I curse too much here, like HR, fuck. Oh shit, oh shit.
Have you guys ever heard of Vet TV before?
No, I haven't.
You haven't?
First time today.
Have you heard of Vet TV before? Okay. So, what were your initial thoughts when you watched Vet TV?
Exactly how it is in the fleet, like dark humor, and that's what we're about. You know, we laugh at the weirdest, darkest stuff.
So, can I play a clip or two from Vet TV for you guys just to like purely see what your reaction is? Is that okay?
Yeah.
It's called Night Terror Neck Brace.
Ladies, does your veteran husband go from your dream man to your worst nightmare in the middle of the night? Well, ladies, have no fear. The Night Terror Neck Brace is here. Simply apply the neck brace around the neck using the patented locking mechanism. Your husband can squeeze as hard as he wants and you won't feel a thing.
Why are you like, what's so funny about that?
I don't even know what to say. It's funny. Like the neck brace, it's like, it's horrible. It's like, yo, dude, you crossed the line, but that shit's funny though.
It's like some Mortal Kombat shit, mentality.
Finish him.
You're right, you guys are all very sick individuals. Have you heard of stories where people have such severe PTSD that they do like have night terrors and choke people out and shit like that?
Yeah, I know people that's happened to them. Maybe not necessarily choke, but you know, they get hit or whatnot.
Yeah, I had to deal with his night terrors every night, like, and where I was like drenched in sweat.
You have to find the humor in it because at the end of the day, PTSD is a serious thing to have. It's not an easy thing to live with, but you have to laugh at it because if you're always miserable or always down or always anxious, you have to laugh.
Donny says that the biggest misrepresentation in mainstream media is the language that's used amongst military personnel.
Yes.
What are we getting wrong?
Sometimes you just need that extra emphasis to get a point across.
Expletives, perhaps.
And that's why I like vet TV. When you watch it and you realize that's our day-to-day life, is just shooting the shit, laughing to get over hard times, and that's where I connect with the show.
The thin red dick.
Broke Dick Mountain.
Hey. My big fat Greek dick. Or, the land before dick. 28 dicks later. Yeah, that wins.
We went out to lunch, and when I came back, Donny came up to me and said that they actually need an extra female for the next sketch that they're doing. They're down an actress and wanted me to play a role. He gave me the script. I kind of looked over it very briefly, and I have some questions. So I want to go ask him. He's in the writer's room with the guys.
I think it's titled Girl Bent Over Number 2.
Yeah, number 2, there's 2 of us.
Yeah, we're recreating a party scene. What the main character is doing the whole time is he's trying to get laid. He finds a girl. She likes him, but her friend cock blocks him.
Classic.
So all you'll be doing is just holding red solo cups, cheersing people.
I don't have a speaking role?
We can give you a speaking role if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, I was very, very briefly looked over the script, and I see that there are female characters that do have speaking roles, but their roles are very specific to the sketch, which involves fucking, right? So if there was a speaking role that didn't end in the girl getting fucked, I would totally be down for that.
What about fingering? How are we with fingering?
Nice. Nope. Did you have any women help you write this sketch?
This one?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so.
The reality is that we don't care about the female's perspective in this piece.
Yeah, I know.
Don't care. Not all of our stuff is for everyone, so I fully acknowledge this is not for women. If we're making a show that is only for men, then I will not have a woman in that writer's room because she is not going to help make a show for men. If we have a show that is going to be for all of them, then absolutely, come on in. Part of what we want to do is we want to keep expanding our audience, and women is a part of that. So we're going to continue growing. But right now in the beginning, we got to focus on a niche, give the niche what they want so that they're willing to pay for it. And once we have enough money, we can expand.
All right, so we're gonna do a dry rehearsal. Donny's gonna walk us through some actions of the sketch.
Stars 4 guys, 4 girls party in a barracks room. Some of them smoke by the front door. Jason is our main character. Rachel storms in with an angry and aggressive look on her face.
We have Rachel.
Rachel right here.
Oh, you Rachel?
Macy stepped up.
Yeah. Right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Did you read the script?
Yeah.
She just sent in a video.
Okay, go ahead. Rach, come on in
Oh, wait. Interesting. I did not read that right. I'm so sorry. Interesting.
From him.
Right.
here. Oh, did you just get to the fingering part?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I'll do the first part, for sure.
It's me though, you sure?
Love you, but yeah, I'll do the first part.
Throw it out there. And so there's 2 dudes talking to a girl over here. Then he sees Stephanie come into the room with a big smile on her face, right? So they start making out, and he fingers her from under her skirt. She loves it.
Interesting, right? Interesting.
What about from their perspective?
So you had no idea that your character was going to have to be fingered by one of the other characters?
Yes, I missed that.
Yeah.
I mean, I absolutely do not want that to happen.
Yeah, I would imagine not.
Yeah, and I have no problem saying so.
And I asked, Donny about it backstage. I'm like, do you think you could have had a fucking woman, look over this? And he goes, well, it's not for women. Right. That's such a weird thing to hear in today's society, right?
It really, really is. They know their audience very well, and they appeal to them, definitely. But yeah, it's hard for me in this world of film to kind of come into that situation.
But you're gonna push back in this situation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Yes.
You two be over here. Thank you. All right, let's do this thing.
There we go. And action, Mike. Oh, yeah. Okay, take her to the wall. Or make out a little bit. Yeah. And go for the finger thing. I know, she's judging. I think we got it.
As the only female writer in the writer's room, if people critique and say, this is misogynistic, this is anti-female, what is your response?
The veteran community is not that dynamic. You know, it's a boys' club. It is what it is. And we're making entertainment for them.
I was gonna say, do you concede that certain sketches, even the ones that have aired, have a level of misogyny to them?
Absolutely. We can't lie to ourselves and say this is not happening, but we're not making this content for females. We're making this content for military, and what percentage of the military is made up of those males? I'm only one voice out of how many who are in this room, you know, writing a sketch. And like I said, I'm not going to agree every time, but I'm not the decision maker at the end of the day.
Everybody at your spots for the party, please.
Are you down to make out or we angle it?
Let's angle it.
Angle it?
Yeah.
Can I do like a, yeah, like, it'd be like super suave.
Okay.
Super suave, romantic.
Mhm.
Like this and this, and you gotta act like you're into it, dude.
Okay.
Act like I'm not that bad.
Let's start it at 1.
Ay.
And let's do it. Action.
Jason's game was flawless as he moved the ball effortlessly down the field with a PFC from the nearby comm battalion. Jason used the oldest play in the book to get the ball from the 20-yard line all the way down into the red zone. But not before the opposing team's toughest defender came back out on the field for one more stop. The two-time Barracks MVP, Jim Stanton, also Jason's squad leader, came off the sideline just in time to make the Black Rifle Coffee play of the day. This has been one of the great moments in Barracks history.
I understand your definition of dark humor, but is there dark humor in the fraternity sketch that we shot of the girl getting fingered?
That I'd say no.
No dark humor.
Was there anything, were we making a joke of tragedy there?
I don't
No.
think so.
It was all fun.
Right.
Yeah. So no, that was just recreating a relatable, fun experience.
Then I guess it's a question of, is there a blanket statement about Vet TV and saying that the content is all for a veteran to find escapism, or that the content is in some way, shape, or form helpful for PTSD?
This is a place to come relive the military experience in a way that makes you laugh. That's why we say in a therapeutic way. And when we say therapeutic, in the grand sense, it's just make you feel good. You know, if we're making you laugh thinking about the barracks, that makes you feel good, which we are considering therapeutic.
Do you think that that's like a good shape of the veteran culture to sort of perpetuate and continue that 19-year-old fuck around mentality, or should you be pushing it forward?
You cannot shape culture unless you have the culture's attention. The only way we know how to get their attention is to do what we know and love and are passionate about, which is making comedy. Once we have their attention, then I believe it is our job to then guide them in a positive way and have positive messages for them. I fully expect some people, both civilians and veterans, to be offended by Vet TV. But that is right now. We just started. You look at HBO, HBO Family, HBO Comedy. We'll get there. Eventually, we'll have a part of Vet TV that is just for kids, just for the children of service members. It's all in due time. There are lots of people right now who are unhappy with what we're doing, but those people aren't looking at our fucking bank account, and those people are not involved in the production. We're doing everything that we can. We're firing on all cylinders to make this thing happen. We'll never make everyone happy, but eventually many more people will make happy.
You know, this is a tough one because I think at the end of these pieces, you sort of want a declarative statement. And unfortunately, I don't think I really have the right to declare if that TV is good or bad. I don't think that's for me to say.
Having some exposure to the military, I understand this kind of dark humor and how it can help people. But still, that doesn't necessarily mean a mass audience or even a wider veteran audience is going to unequivocally accept the way Vet TV's humor crosses the line in order to get laughs.
This is my rifle, this is my gun.